Okay, so let's discuss this comparison operators. Comparison operators basically used to compare two things. It's logical, kind of logical. Compare whether something is greater than, less than, either aduda, samanada කියලා බලන්න සමාන ලකුණු දෙකක්. Equals සමානද කියලා බලන්න සමාන ලකුණු දෙකක් පාවිච්චි වෙනවා. අසමානද කියලා බලන්න explanation mark and equal. අසමානද not equal to or not equal to. එතකොට ඒක use වෙනවා. එතකොට මේවා අපි පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ conditions එක්ක. නැත්නම් අපේ දෙවනි control structure එකත් එක්ක. දෙවනි control structure එක කියලා කියන්නේ second control structure is what? It is selection. Okay, so let's see how it works. So let's see how selection works. Selection කොහොමද වැඩ කරන්නේ? Okay, let's consider this example පුතේ. Input 3 marks and find the average. If average is greater than 50, then pass the student. If not, fail the student. Marks තුනක් input කරන්න. Input තුනක් marks තුනක් අරගෙන then find the average. That is a process. Then if average is greater than 50, you have to display as pass. If it is not greater than 50, then display as fail. Two decisions. So data flow comes like this. Data flow එක මෙතනට එනකන් ඇවිල්ලා data flow comes like this. Here you have to divide the data flow and you have to either go right side or go left side. Cannot select both sides because there's a condition. Based on a condition, either you can select this side or you can select this side. Either this side or this side. Right? Then finally you merge both flows and finish it. Okay, so this is how you do that. And I'll show you the pseudocode. Pseudocode means not the actual code. Sorry. Pseudocode, let's write down the pseudocode, right? Let's write down the pseudocode for this. So how it works, you can say in begin. Then you have to tell input number 1, number 2, and number 3. And there's a process. The process is average. Finding the average that is equal to n1 plus n2 plus n3 divide by 3. Then display the average. Then stop to finish this. Before stopping, before ending. So there's one thing. What you have to do if average is greater than or equal to, if average is greater than or equal to, if average is greater than or equal to 50, then you can say display pass, else you have to display fail. And this is end of that if. End if. Right, now you can write the question and also draw both flow chart and the pseudocode related to this. Okay, please do that. Then we'll do the Python code. Right after that, we'll write the Python code. හරි දැනට ඔයාලා මේ flow chart එක ලියලා pseudocode එක කියන්නේ මේක pseudocode එක කියන්නේ it's not a correct code, it is just rough code. Not a real code, it's a rough code. That is called pseudocode. Then draw this flow chart and also the pseudocode. Let's do that. Let's do the remaining thing, then Python code after this. හරි පටන් ගන්නකො. Coordinate එකේදී දැන් අපි මේක ඉම්ප්ලිමන්ට් කරන්න ඕන. හරි මම එකක් ඔයාලට උදව් කරනවා. එකක් කියලා දෙනවා. එකක් කියලා දීලා ඉවරලා ඊට පස්සේ තනියෙන් කරන්න තව එකක් දෙන්න. හරි let's do this activity. අපි මේක කරමු. මේක ඉගෙනගෙන ඊට පස්සේ ඒක තනියෙන් කරමු. ideally එක ගන්නවම ideally එක අරගෙන I'm going to write this code from the beginning so you can start doing this with me. So please remember, take a new file. Take a new one, right? ඒ කියන්නේ මේක අරගෙන file new ගිහිල්ලා new file එකක්. Take a new file. After getting a new file, you can write the code. First one is input the numbers. You can say n1. n1 equal int input, enter number 1. Int input, enter number 1. Right? ඊළඟට number 2 and number 3. Number 2, number 3. ඔය විදිහටම ගන්න පුළුවන්. Now you have input 3 numbers and I'm considering those numbers as integers, right? Integers means whole numbers, purna sankhya. Integers. Then finding the average, that is easy. How do we find the average? AVG equal n1 plus, n2 plus n3 divided by 3. AVG equal n1 plus n2 plus n3 divided by 3. Then if AVG greater than or equal to 50 colon then colon if AVG greater than or equal to 50 colon ඊට පස්සේ මෙන්න මේ auto space එකක් එනවා. So මේක තියන්න. මේක මකන්න එපා. ඒ කියන්නේ මෙතනින් enter කරාම when you press enter there will be a gap. Can you see there's a gap here, this gap. I mean this gap. 1, 2, 3, 4 lines gap is there. So when I press enter, this gap comes. Keep that gap. You can say print pass. Print pass. Give me a second. Else print fail. Print fail. If average greater than or 50, print pass. If else, it fail. Let's run this now. If else 1.py. Okay, now when you run this, it's asking, okay, enter number 1, number 2, number 3. It says fail. Let's run it again. I run karamu. Enter number 1, enter number 2, enter number 3, pass. Average එකත් ඕන පෙන්නන්න පුළුවන්. ඒක මම මෙතන දැම්මේ නැහැ. ඕන අන්තිමට අපිට print කරන්න පුළුවන් average එකක්, right? දැන් බලමු ඒකට පැහැදිලිනේ නේද වැඩේ? Okay. Pass. Right. I hope you understood, right? තේරුණා නේද? හරි අපි මේක ලියාගමු පුතේ මේක කරලා බලමු. ඊට පස්සේ මම තනියෙන් එකක් දෙනවා. හරි අපි ඒක try කරමු. මේක කරන්න ඉස්සලා Okay, the question, let's read the question. Enter three marks, enter three input marks and find the average. Give grade based on the following criteria. පහත criteria කම grade එක දෙන්න කියලා තියෙනවා. Average 75ට වැඩි නම් A, 60ට වැඩි නම් 75ට අඩු නම් B, 75 වැඩි නම් 60ට අඩු නම් C, 40ට වැඩි නම් 50ට අඩු නම් S, 40ට අඩු නම් F. විදියට grade එක දෙන්න කියලා කියනවා. First draw the flow chart. ඉස්සලා flow chart එක අඳින්න. Then write the pseudocode. After that we will see the real code, right? So I'll give you 5 minutes. So let's start now. You have to show me, right? Send me a WhatsApp. Otherwise, I don't know whether you are trying or not. මේ පළවෙනි එක්කෙනා WhatsApp එක එවුවම පස්සේ තමයි මම ඩිස්කස් කරන්න ගන්නේ. So don't delay. Draw it in your book. Send me the WhatsApp. So this is the answer. Right? There are multiple conditions. Check whether you have written same. So it is like more likely you have done the same. So mostly your answer is correct. And you can see the answer is something like this. Start, then input the numbers, find the average. Then if average is greater than 75, then display A. And average is, if not greater than 75, then you are checking whether it's greater than 60 at least. If it is B, if not, you are checking whether it's greater than 50. If yes, C. If not, again, you are checking is it greater than 40. If yes, S. If not, it's F, because it is not greater than 40. And finally, you come to a central point. You just merge all the parts and finish it. Okay, this is what you can correct your flowchart today if you have done something wrong. I think most of you have done this. එකම දේ අර connection එකක් දෙන්න ඕනේ. මේ ටික connect කරන්න. You got to connect and stop. ඒක තිබ්බේ නැහැ. දෙකේම තිබ්බේ නැහැ. I think you have to do that. ඒක කරන්න. Right, okay, so this is flow chart, and after that it comes to the code, the real code, and you can see, so this is real coding. In real coding, you are using elif. So why elif? So now three numbers. So multiple if else statements, we have to use elif, right? So let's say average is greater than or equal to 75 now, 75 will be ready now. Then you can say the average and also break. Your average is, let's say, I'm printing this, right? Your average is print. This I can print earlier. Your average is, comma, the average, VG, then print. And here I can say end equals space print and you got A, pass or A grade. Can tell like this. Then again, the next condition, elif. The second if, elif means If not, if greater than 75 ටික අයින් කරනවා. 75ට වැඩි කට්ටිය අයින් කරාට පස්සේ එහෙම නැති අය 75ට අඩු අය කියන එක තමයි මේ elif. 75ට අඩු අයගෙන් ආයෙ බලනවා whether it is greater than 60. Whether it is greater than or equal to 60. Elif. Then you got B grade. Elif. Elif. 50 C grade. Elif 40 S grade. Elif, or you can say else, because no other conditions you can say else. The last statement you got, and you got F. So grade is not required actually, so you can just finish. Grade is not required, you can finish. Just the pass. Save it, let's run it. And now you can see 3 numbers. Your average is this and you got C. Your average is this and you got C. So let's try again one more time. Put in some other values. Your average is 85 and you got A. Okay, so please do this quickly. Next is we are going to apply some drawing. I'll tell you how to do that. So we are going to draw some different shapes. With the repetition part. Please do that quickly and let me know when you're done, once you're done.
So
the final concept that we are going to learn today is about repetition or repeating or iteration. Right. So repetition, iteration or repeating is basically used as the third control structure. Is the third one. So we have already learned 2, sequence and selection. Then the third comes the repetition, repeating. In this control structure, the same instruction is repeated again and again. So let's take an example. You can see this flow chart. Here you can see, here under this you can see instructions in the programs repeated again and repeated again and again. So you can see the data flow, the arrow flow or the path. It's going down from here to here. After that, what will happen? Go this side and then go this side, going down and here, and again go up and then comes to the same place. So arrows are forming a cycle. Arrows are forming a cycle. Eta leveling hadena mokadda? Cycle ekak. You can see going here, going here, going here, 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 here. Here comes up and going back to here. It's forming a cycle. Its arrowheads point in the same direction. All the arrowheads point in the same direction, forming a cycle. So we call that a repetition. But in the previous flow charts, we didn't see that kind of cycle. Okay, let's say the average one or this one, finding a large number, small number. Here it looks like cycle, but it's not. Why? Here it's going here, 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 going down, but no way to go up. The arrows are not forming a cycle. Here also, when it comes this direction, but no way to go up. It's not forming a cycle. So those are not repetitions. The one that we have learned about this, this is also looks like a cycle, but here it's going this direction and going this direction and no way to go up. Here also it's coming this direction and going this, but no way to go up again. So it's not a cycle, right? So remember which kind of cycle it's forming. All arrows are pointing in the same direction. Zero arrows, eka pathata direction. So that is the point here. So that is called repetition. Right. Under that, let's draw this and then write down, no need to write the singular node, says පුනර්කරණය එකම දිශාවට නැවත නැවත උපදේශ ක්‍රියාත්මක වීම. But no need to write down that, so let's write down the repetition and also write down the pseudocode, flowchart and the pseudocode. Quickly do this because we have to do some activities also. Right, the first method. First method is this, we have to, it's very easy. මොකද මේ දැන් අපිට arrows ගන්න පුළුවන් වුණාට flow chart එකේ උඩට, even though we can put arrows and display this, you can see this flow chart. What is the meaning of this flow chart actually? It's starting from 2, and if z is less than 10, you can say it's displaying c and incrementing c by 2. What will happen ultimately? Yes, what's the result of this? It will print even numbers, right? It will print even numbers from 1 to 10. So not 1 to 10, it's 2 to 10. Because you start with 2, then adding 2 by 2, moving up to 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Likewise, you are printing the even numbers from 2 to 10. So that is the purpose of this code, and it's printing the even numbers. Let's take an ink file and see this. I'll try with all 3 methods now, right? Let's try with the method number 1. Okay, the first method says you start with 2, let's say c equal to, while c less than or equal to 10, what you are going to do, you have to write next, print the c, and you can say c equals c plus 2. So this is very simple code. Let's run this. When you run this, you can see it's getting this output. It's printing from 2 to 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. It's printing like 2 by 2 by 2 by 2, and it's printing up to 10. Okay, the same thing you can do using this method. You can start saying 4. This is second method, right? Let's print method 2. This is method 1. Method 2. Under method 2, you are telling 4. Then you have to directly tell the variable for, let's say, x or y in range. In range. Then the start with 2, go up to 11, go 2 by 2. So see, it's all, everything in one line. You can say whether to start which number to be started, like start with number 2, go up to 11. Up to 11 means like when it reach 11, or when it is more than or equal to 11, stop. Go 2 by 2. But if you give 10, 10 will be excluded. That's why I'm not giving 10, right? Let me show this. Print y. This is the second method. When I run this, you can see it's printing here 2 to 8, not 10. 10 is not printed. Therefore, you have to use 11 here. When you use 11, you can see, right? When you use 11, it's 2 to 10. Because when it is 10, when it reaches 10, it will be terminated. 10 damot, 10 will be terminated. But 11 damot, එකක් ඉස්සරහට යනවා. 11 දැම්මොත් 10 වෙනකන් යනවා. 10 දැම්මොත් 10 reach වෙද්දිම 10 hit වෙද්දිම terminate වෙනවා. ඒකයි 8 වලින් නවතින්නේ. 2 එතකොට 11 වෙනකන් යන්නේ නැහැ. මේක 11 වල 10 exceed වෙද්දි 11 වලට යද්දි නවතිනවා. That's why you have printed 10. මෙතන 10 දැම්මොත් 10 එන්නේ නැහැ. ඒක තමයි ඉගෙන ගන්න. Okay, the third method. Third method is easy. It's this is method number 3. So let's try all 3 today. Let's practice all 3. Method number 3 is, you can say same thing, c equal to, you can say while, repeat but you can use same while true. That means always true. You do this always. What? Print c C equals C plus 2, but you are not given any condition. This is actually checking whether you can swim before you jump to the river. ගඟට පනින්න කලින් මෙතන මොකද කරන්නේ? ගඟට පනින්න කලින් condition එක බලලා පීනන්න පුළුවන්. Can we swim? Can we swim if so jump? So it's like this, right? So before we swim, you have to, before you jump into the river, you check whether you can swim. Or if condition is true only, you come inside. But here, regardless of any condition, you come inside and do the activity. After doing the activity, you check if, let's say, you can say if C greater than 10, you can break or terminate. That is the method number 3. When C is greater than 10, you stop. Oh, what is C? Simple C, sorry. Okay, you can see all 3 methods are giving the same results. So this is actually doing it and checking later. So when you start downloading something, ඔයාලා මොනවා හරි download කරද්දී hard එකේ ඉඩ තියනවද කියලා බලන්නේ නැහැ. එකපාරම download වෙන්න පටන් ගන්නවා. download වෙලා ඉවර වෙලා තමයි ඉඩ තියනවද බලන්නේ. download වෙලා ඉවර වෙලා තමයි ඉඩ තියනවද බලන්නේ. හරි. එතකොට ඉඩ නැත්නම් ඉඩ නැහැ කියනවා less this space. ඒ විදිහ රෙකෝඩ් කරන්න පටන් ගත්තේ රෙකෝඩ් කරනවා ඉස්සෙල්ලා. ඉඩ නැත්නම් පස්සේ තමයි කියන්නේ රෙකෝඩ් එකට ඉඩමති කියලා. හරි හැබැයි සමහර ඒවා එහෙම නැහැ කලින් චෙක් කරනවා ෆයිල් එකක් කොපි කරන්න කලින් ඉඩ තියනවද කියලා චෙක් කරලා තමයි කොපි කරන්න පටන් ගන්න. ඒ වගේ. මෙතන මුලින් චෙක් එක යනවා. Before we run it will check. Here it will check only after we run this. Okay, that is the specialty. Right. I hope everything is okay. You can write down this now. Do this and write down in your book. කරලා පොතේ ලියන්න. So you have to write down this one, right? What I'm highlighting, please write down this. And let's try to do that. Draw a flow chart and write through the code to print. Odd numbers from 1 to 10. Square numbers from 1 to 100. Triangular numbers from 1 to 100. Okay, let's do this quickly. Write down this. Try to do that. I'll help, right? I'll help. Try to do that. Okay, I'll help you do one activity, right? So let's consider the first one. I'll do easy one for you, and the remaining things you can do alone. So just give a try. You can do that. So do as a homework. For an example, to print the odd numbers, you can change this. Let's say since you started with 1, you are printing the even numbers. Flowchart you have to draw, right? But if you start with 2, you are printing even numbers. But if you start with 1, and here also you start with 1, and here also you start with 1, it will start from 1 and go 2 by 2, which will be printing even numbers. Let's run this and you can see it's printing even numbers. Yeah. 1 to 9, 1 to 9, 1 to 9. So only thing is I have changed the place here. Starting from 1, then go 2 by 2. Starting from 2, go 2 by 2, it's printing 2, the even numbers. Starting from 1, go 2 by 2, it's printing odd numbers. Okay. Right, odd even you can print like this. Now what you have to try? You have to try the triangular numbers and also triangular numbers and square numbers. That I'll keep for the next day. Next day I'll discuss this part. Then good night. See you all next week.
Good night, sir.